I guess my problem with the way that the entire pandemic was communicated, there were people who were incredibly notable, experts in their field with glowing reputations, who proffered a different view. And
that's my point. It doesn't matter. Your reputation, your title, none of that in science, none of that matters unless by their reputation, they have access to large-scale studies that they are reporting to you, okay? But not the lone person who says, I have this degree and I hail from this storied institution, and I'm telling you that all those people are wrong. That is the sure sign that you should not pay attention to them, okay? This spills over. This spills over into our UFO hearings here in the United States. There are people testifying that they have aliens stockpiled in the back room, and the introduction of them, there's a colonel or there's a this, and they're a credible witness. No such thing as a credible witness in science. Are you human? That's all we care about. Then I will not I will not trust in your account more than someone else's. What I will trust in is the data brought to you by means that do not flow through the biophysiology of human senses. And so, yeah, I don't care what the pedigree is, and that's a problem. Yes, it's a complete problem.
So, Neil, I suppose the question would be in that situation, and I'm not talking about COVID specifically, but if you look at the history of science, and you'll know this way better than I do, of course, has there not been a historical role for people who are outliers, who come in and go, I've got this crazy idea that perhaps people dismiss initially, but later turns out to have actually been correct?
Yeah, the press loves talking about those people. And yes, they exist. They're rare, but they exist. What you don't hear about are the tens of thousands of other people who had crazy ideas who were just crazy. Okay?
Right.
There are no books about them overcoming the resistance of the establishment. Nobody writes about them because they were just plumb wrong. Okay? So the one person who is right against an establishment is one in, I would say, 10,000. Okay, and that's not enough to put all your piggy bank on the YouTube video of that one person thinking they're the one in the 10,000.
Completely agreed. So I guess the next question, logically, is what do we do with those people who, to use your terminology, are plumb wrong? Because we saw during the pandemic, these people were demonetized. They had their channels cancelled. They were shadow banned and all of this kind of stuff. Now, from a layman's point of view, I don't think that is a good way of dealing with that, because what you do is you give these people a glamour they perhaps don't deserve, or they don't deserve, because you effectively say their voice is so dangerous, they can't be, they must be silenced.
So that's an extremely important point. I just have a different answer than what you're looking for. I think it's a matter of free speech. And if there are risks in a world of free speech, that there could be people who are dangerous because they create instability in a system, or because they lead people on a track that may be impossible to reverse. You look at Hitler in 1930s Germany, for example, it required all-out war to sort of correct the attitudes and feelings that Germans had about themselves relative to the world at that time. So there's a risk when you have a free society. For me, as an educator, the antidote is the education of how to listen to people. So you nip that in the bud from the beginning. So if someone is speaking highly charismatically about something that's completely opposite what a mainstream view is, I will approach them with skepticism, no matter how charismatic they are, because I will know that only 1 in 10,000 of them will ever be correct at this. And no, we don't give courses on the 10,000 people that were wrong. No, we don't. That's a waste of everybody's time. So, for some reason, over recent years, the word establishment has become a bad word. I represent the establishment. Oh, well, you must be wrong then. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it's ever worked.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you should always believe the establishment. What I'm saying is, if you want to believe someone who is against the establishment, you should do a little more homework before you go that way. And the homework isn't only listening to what they are telling you. It's looking into the establishment and find out why there's an establishment view to begin with. And the establishment view is not from authorities on high. No, it's the consensus of research conducted by hardworking scientists in a lab whose name you've never heard of.